It's been a minute, yo. Hope y'all are having a really good day today. And I got an update video for you guys. As promised before, I wasn't going to do a video unless I had something to talk about when it comes to what's going on with Dragon Ball. And we've got some pretty interesting bits of information here. I'm going to talk in this video about the behind the scenes issues between Toei, Capsule Corp Tokyo, and Shueisha, and what's been going on with that, because we have new information on that. And we have a ton of new information about Super Saiyan 4 in Daima, and maybe some hints about the future of Super Saiyan 4, because the one that we saw in Daima that Goku used, that may not be the last time we see Goku use that. But of course, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. That way you have all the information. I'm going to give you everything as concisely as I can. And I do want to say, I hope y'all have had a good 2025. I've got some things going on that I've been working on outside of YouTube that should be cleared up by mid-October. So right around mid-October, I'm probably going to start to stream again on here and talk to you guys. So I do miss talking to you guys on stream and, just chilling, and maybe play some games, and it'll be a good time. So look forward to that very, very soon. I just got to take care of some stuff that I'm working on outside YouTube. But let's talk about this update first about Capsule Corp Tokyo. So we've been under the impression that the reason as to why the Dragon Ball Super manga has not continued has been because of this behind the scenes, I guess you can say, this tug of war for the rights of Dragon Ball. Well, it seems like that issue may have been resolved or is close to being resolved very recently. We've discovered, and all credit goes to Andy, he was the first one to find this out, that Capsule Corporation Tokyo, which is the company that Akio Ioku, who is Toriyama's right-hand man, the company that he opened at Toriyama's request, because he did say that it was creator Akira Toriyama himself that wanted him to open up a company to help with creating new Dragon Ball games and new Dragon Ball anime. The company not only is in existence, but is now being credited in Dragon Ball games. Right here, you see in Sparking Zero in the credits, it says Capsule Corporation Tokyo, and Akio Ioku is listed right there. That is, I think, kind of a big deal, because that would mean that Capsule Corporation Tokyo will have their hand in the future of video games, and Akio wants to put out more games. And more anime. So that's his goal. So the fact that their names are already in the credits means that whatever issue they were having with Shueisha or with Toei is either close to being resolved or has been resolved. Now, there is more stuff I want to talk to you about, and more stuff that Andy found, and then I want to get to the Super Saiyan 4 stuff. So Andy discusses that when the Sandland game came out, which came out months before Sparking Zero, Ioku was still listed under Shueisha. So this credit up here, Capsule Corporation Tokyo, Akio Ioku, under Capsule Corporation Tokyo, that is new, because in the Sandland game, he was still working under Shueisha. Remember, Akio was one of the editors at Jump Magazine. He had a pretty important position there. And now with Gekishin Squadra, the new game coming out, there's no mention on Capsule Corp Tokyo, but they probably were involved. And then the update that we have is from the new Dragon Ball Daima Blu-ray booklet, which I'm going to get to in just a minute, because we found out some interesting stuff about Super Saiyan 4. Here it actually lists Capsule Corporation Tokyo under cooperation. Copyright still goes through Bird Studio, because that's Toriyama's company, Shueisha and Toei, but Capsule Corporation Tokyo is still getting a credit. So that's Akio's company, and I would expect to see them in the credits of future anime and video games. Probably not manga though. Now, what about Super Saiyan 4? Is it going to come back in the future? There's a chance it will, but how? That is the question. I want to talk to y'all about that. So credit to this goes to Griffin Station, a very talented artist. This information is coming from the Dragon Ball Daima Blu-ray home release. There's a lot of tidbits of information in this release, and one of them is an interview. There's a very extensive interview done with the creators of Daima, like Aya Komaki, the director, and people who worked on it. And we have some really interesting information about Super Saiyan 4's lore that could lead to it coming back later. And I want to get to that here. So this is the page, but I want to go to the translation. Credit to Enomis for tweeting this out originally. So this is, I'm going to go ahead and read through this. This is what they said about Super Saiyan 4. And then I will give my thoughts on this because this is important information, I think. So the question that was asked to Aya Komaki, who's the series director, the Super Saiyan 4 transformation drew huge buzz. What were the direction cues? So Aya Komaki says, in episode 18, when Goku Mini becomes Super Saiyan 4, it's a case where his ability is drawn out by Neva, so we aim for it to look not like psyching himself up, but like Neva's ability enters inside Goku Mini and blossoms inside Goku Mini. So I want to, before I go any further, discuss that phrase blossoms, because that seems to be a word, a verb that people are confused about. Basically, if you remember in Dragon Ball Daima, remember how Goku in episode 20 said that he knew there was something more. He knew that there was a higher level of power, like he was training to kind of get to a higher form, but he was never able to actually reach it. Neva's magic was able to unlock the form and mix with Goku's DNA. And you actually visually see this in the episode. I've covered this already, but some people were skeptical. Now we have confirmation that if it wasn't for Neva's magic, he would never have gotten Super Saiyan 4, even though he was training to find something higher. It was Neva that unlocked it. That's what the director's saying right here. Basically, the magic that Neva used triggered the mutation to Super Saiyan 4. Now, I'm not done. There's still more information here I want to share with you because it keeps going. The interpretation is that the approach is different from when after returning to his original form, he psychs himself up and transforms into Super Saiyan 4. He's talking about in episode 19 when Goku became an adult again and then went back into Super Saiyan 4. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. In addition, Super Saiyan 4 carries an image of red. So we wanted to add red elements even to the Kamehameha, which is usually blue. We proceeded to cut by cut while discussing with the filming team and the animators how to add it effectively. You also have to remember that by the time they got to this episode, like when it came to like producing this episode, Toriyama had already passed away at that point. So the pre-production was done, but the actual production was after Toriyama passed. And so because of that, they couldn't even ask him for exact direction on that. And actually, there's more involving Toriyama in this interview I'm going to get to. So she goes on to say, as a result, I think it became an expression that while orthodox has originality unique to this work. As a new attempt, we also wreathed the Kamehameha in flames when Goku Mini became Super Saiyan 4. I hope people will take another look at the differences in the Kamehameha across each form. Yeah, remember, it did turn into flames, and that was awesome. I think a lot of folks wanted to see the Kamehameha times 10, the red one from GT, but I think that Aya Komaki and the animators probably figured that's maybe a bit too derivative of GT, even though I would have liked to have seen it. But Super Saiyan 4, the Daima version, is way more quote unquote red. So basically, what this is saying is that Neva's magic was able to unlock Super Saiyan 4 in Kid Goku, right? But once Goku got a taste of it, he was able to go into it at will in episode 19. Now, what does that mean? That would mean that Daima might not be the last time that we see Super Saiyan 4. Now, a lot of folks have been talking about, well, maybe Daima's in a different canon or a different continuity than Super, but there's a lot of, there are a few contradictions. There are a few plot holes, and even the manga has contradictions, man. Like, Dragon Ball's got those everywhere. It doesn't mean that there's a separate canon or anything like that. Not necessarily. It just depends. It depends on how you want to look at it. But the reality is that we, as of right now, don't have a direct reason as to why Goku didn't use Super Saiyan 4, at the very least during his first fight with Beerus. In the manga version of Battle of Gods, he straight up tells Beerus that Super Saiyan 3 is his strongest form. He says that to Beerus in the manga version. Now, that is not in the movie version, which Akira Toriyama co-wrote. So the movie version has the most Toriyama in it. And it's not in the anime version that Toei went back and redid. Toriyama was not involved in the anime version of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. All the stuff that they added was all Toei. All of it was Toei. So, but in none of those did they say that 3 was, Goku didn't say it was his most powerful form, so they can kind of get out of it, right? By explaining that it wasn't, or by just later on saying, well, you know, for some reason, he can't use Super Saiyan 4 anymore. They haven't revealed why. I don't know why. I'm hoping that when Toyotaro gets the pen again and when Super continues, they figure out some kind of way to either bring Super Saiyan 4 back, even though the God forms are more powerful. There's no reason to use Super Saiyan 4 anymore unless they fight some type of villain that is immune to God Ki or something like that, in which case then they would have to maybe rely on regular Ki, and that's when people like Broly, Beast Gohan, and Super Saiyan 4 would be useful in those instances. So that's just an idea that I had. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but that would be one way to make it happen to where it could still make sense. It's just weird that this takes place 3 years before Beerus met Goku, and they have plenty of time to tell a story during those 3 years, but will they? That's the problem, is right now, even if Toyotaro starts writing Super again soon, he might not even want to revisit this stuff. He might want to go forward with something else. Don't forget that in Super, Goku is still trying to unlock the angel version of Ultra Instinct. Him and Vegeta are still training together, so that's still a work in progress for those later forms. So here's a few more highlights from the Aya Komaki interview. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read the entire interview. I'm just going to highlight things that I think you guys would be most interested in. Real quick, Aya Komaki is asked about her initial reactions to Toriyama's original plot and story. And this is where it's revealed that, and I was talking to you guys about this when I first revealed Dragon Ball Magic all the way back in September of 2020. Was it 2020? 2023, I think it was, right around then. Yeah, it was 2023 when it was still referred to as Dragon Ball Magic. Then in October, it was revealed as being Dragon Ball Daima. And one of the things I had talked about is that unlike the other Dragon Ball anime shows, OG Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, Toriyama would be involved in Daima more than any of those because he was actually supervising and writing scripts for each episode, something he had not done for Super or even the old Dragon Ball and Z. He was writing the manga back then, not the anime. But here, Komaki does reveal that Toriyama, I mean, right there, it says the dialogue was written down to the last detail. So Toriyama, this is the most, Daima, like it or not, and some don't like it, and I understand why, is the most Toriyama anime that we've gotten. Like the most Toriyama, the anime with the most Toriyama involvement as far as like what he actually did, because he was in when it came to like at least the scripting part, like the story part. Visually, that went to the, and Toriyama drew things. Obviously, there's art there that he drew, concept art, but like visually, the anime team was given more freedom. You know what I mean? They were given, they were able to spice things up. And right here in this other question, they were asked about, you know, what kind of exchanges did you have with Toriyama and Akio? And I want you guys to know, I've talked about this before. The way Toriyama worked with like the anime staff or with Toyotaro or whomever is through email. Toriyama did a lot of his stuff through email. His art that he submits for the video games and for the shows and the movies, that's all done via email. Toriyama does not go to Toei offices. I don't think he's been there in maybe decades. So it's all done through email. And they reveal that we received detailed guidance, not only episode by episode, but scene by scene. So once again, Daima has the most Toriyama involvement of any of the animes. So the last piece of information is something that I actually revealed on Twitter first. And actually, I've told you guys this too, but this Blu-ray book actually confirms this information I'm going to give you right here. So what I wrote was, when Daima was being discussed originally, it was called Dragon Ball Magic. You guys should already know that. Very early decided that they'd bring back Super Saiyan 4. Very early. Akio loves to do fan favorite stuff like Broly, Trunks, and Gohan getting Beast and all that. I've talked about that before on this channel, about how producer Akio Ioku, he's the one that suggested Broly come back and be rewritten. He's the one that suggested that Gohan be made the main character of Superhero. He's the one that kind of does the homework of what fans respond to and tries to pitch it to Toriyama. I can tell you that Super Saiyan 4 is one of those things that he wanted to bring back. And that's really like a big reason as to why Daima came out the way that it did. Why it even existed was to justify this new Super Saiyan 4, to figure out a way to bring that form back. Now, obviously, I know a lot of you guys, I've seen the comments, a lot of you guys wish that like Broly got that form, you know, or something like that. And maybe he will. I mean, who knows? Maybe Goku will show him that form someday, and maybe it fits him better. I couldn't even tell you. That could still happen. But Daima was for sure like the second thing after they realized they wanted to make an anime and it was going to be an adventure type story. Super Saiyan 4 was right like the next thing, because that was the big surprise, the big highlight near the end. The one thing that I myself did not reveal publicly until it happened, even though I had seen it, was Super Saiyan 4. That was their big thing, and now we have Super Saiyan 4 in the video games because Sparking Zero just got it. So the Daima version. But I got a lot more videos to come, including a transformation guide on the new Super Saiyan 4. When I get a bit more information, I'll have that completely done, and you'll have all the information here. And also, like I said, stay tuned for upcoming live streams. It's been a while. I really hope you're doing great. Leave a comment. Let me know what your 2025 was like and what you thought about all this information. I love you. Take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you soon.